back. It is our 21st episode, Lana. It is episode 21 of Blerds on Nerds, and we are finally adults.
Happy birthday to you.
I thought, is this Marilyn Monroe?
No.
Oh. I thought it was the Marilyn Monroe version of, like, you know, because remember on Breaking Bad when Skylar sings "Happy Birthday" to her boss.
Yeah. Back, yeah, I know, right?
See, bam! I know what I'm talking about.
Of course, I was thinking of Marilyn Monroe, JFK, circa 19 something or other.
Well, that was what it was from, though. I thought that's what she drew it from. So I was like, okay, all right. See, I know my Breaking Bad. I haven't finished it yet, but
what now?
I haven't finished it yet, but I'm on my Breaking Bad grind. So, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Blerds on Nerds. Of course, this is Matt, and of course, I'm joined by my lovely partner Lana, and we're just going to get right into it.
You know, we have things to say today. We're gonna be talking about some things, and it may not all be happy, but there are things that need to be said.
There need to be. But first, I do have to give a slight apologia because last week I had talked about my blast in the past was, before we get into blast in the past, my blast in the past was Family Matters.
Mm-hmm.
And I had said that the show Perfect Strangers was a spinoff of Family Matters.
Yes.
So my wording was wrong. It's actually the series Family Matters was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did Carl Winslow play a cop or something?
I'm not sure
because he was a cop. He was a cop on the show, and I'm wondering with Perfect Strangers because I had a scene just flash in my mind right now. That's why.
Oh yeah, he is. He's Carl is Harriet Winslow is the elevator operator, and then her husband Carl is introduced in the 4th season of an episode called Crime Busters.
Okay.
So and they move into the Larry and Balky's apartment building.
Yeah, Carl.
Okay.
Carl.
Okay, see, we're going so deep there. Okay. Cool. So I just wanted to, a good friend of mine, a good friend of the podcast, Nerdlink, at Nerdlink on Twitter, had mentioned that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I listened back, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I really did. My words were, a little snappy. But so I apologize. So let's just hop right into the blast in the past of today.
Mm-hmm.
My blast in the past is of a video game nature. One of my favorite characters of all time, not Sora.
Well, because I thought that's where you were going, just automatically.
Well, Sora is like I did say he's one of my favorite characters of all time. But another one that was back in the 90s, I mean like early 90s, Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
As of October 18th, 1994, was 1994? 1993, celebrating 20 years, was the release of Sonic and Knuckles in North America on the Sega Genesis. And that was one of my favorite games because it introduced one of the really iconic characters of Sonic lore. It was Knuckles, who was a villain by Dr. Robotnik, and then he was introduced to, and then he came back as like a good guy, so he was on like Sonic's side. But it was fun because I was going through my PlayStation Plus like downloads, my game downloads, and I came across Sonic Adventures, what I had downloaded. It was a free download. And I had played Knuckles' story. So it was kind of like nostalgic this week because I was just playing like old school games. I was playing Final Fantasy and Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Sonic Adventures. So my blast in the past, I'll be short, it's sweet. It goes to Sonic, because they're celebrating 20 years since the release of Sonic and Knuckles. And if you have never heard of Sonic, you're not a gamer by any means. It's like saying you never heard of Mario, because I'm sure someone's like, who's Sonic? Like, really?
What?
You never heard of Sonic? So shout out to Sonic, shout out to Sonic and Knuckles. Happy 20 years. Hopefully there are more years ahead with Sonic, because the past 10 years have had really garbage games by Sonic. I mean, it's true. I mean...
That's only a taste of where we're going, by the way.
Yeah. Gaming is the overarching... Gaming is the overarching theme of this episode. So I'm trying to keep this. I'm trying to keep my blast and pass short so we can get right into it.
Yeah,
So
because
Lana.
we have things to talk about. Okay, my blast from the past is Mr. Wizard from Mr. Wizard's World.
Mmm.
I loved Mr. Wizard growing up. And it's funny because there was actually the Canadian Mr. Wizard, and that was a show that was started in the 50s. And that's not the one I'm talking about. That was in black and white. I'm
Right.
talking about the one in color and the one that was on Nickelodeon.
Yep.
And Mr. Wizard was so cool. Just the experiments, just everyday things. The experiments were easy. It was stuff that you can find in your house. And just a kid would come over because back then, people weren't quite as creepy as they are now. And you could actually have a child from the neighborhood come over and it wouldn't be weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so the show ran from 1983 to 1991, and Don Herbert actually wrote and starred in the show. That was Mr. Wizard. It went 78 episodes, and I just have a lot of fond miseries.
Misery.
Wow,
Is that
I
what
just
you?
went on
Wow.
and said it. I knew it was coming out. I just said it. Memories, memories.
Well, Lana, the thing is, this is how you feel.
Quarter of my mind.
This
Yes.
is this is how you feel.
It's just how I feel, and we're going to get into that because just anyways. So yes, Mr. Wizard, thank you for bringing a smile to my face and some knowledge to my brain. Kudos, Mr. Wizard.
So if you guys
Kudos.
have not heard of Sonic, you need to YouTube it. And if you've not heard of Mr. Wizard's World, you need to YouTube it.
Yes, do
Because
that.
because you brought up Mr. Wizard's World, I already know my blast in the past for next week.
I love it.
I'm really excited. You'll love it too. So of course you'll love it. But okay, so let's get into. Well,
Can
I
we
want
just
to
talk
talk.
about the Okay, which one first? Are we doing games or are we doing Scandal? I have a whole tirade for both. So which one?
I feel like your passion is slightly greater than mine. I mean, mine is just as passionate, but I feel like just the way your tone you just used.
It's just, you know what?
So what do you want to do?
Let's do Scandal first.
Okay.
Let's do Scandal first
All right.
because I have my issues, but I'm not as, yeah.
Okay.
So
So
I know you said you had some things. Where would you like to go with Scandal? I want to hear your thoughts.
so I just rewatched episode. It's episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just rewatched episode 3 again today, like literally like 40 minutes before we started recording.
Uh-huh.
Because I watched it yesterday at work, and then I watched it this morning.
Right.
I This has probably been, honestly, this was the Mr. Such and Such Goes to the White House. Mr. Smith Goes to the White House was the name of this episode.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. It's actually one of my favorite episodes to date
Mm-hmm.
out of all 3 seasons, just because of the drama. It's something about like being stuck in a room where you may lose your life, and how they like revealed the secrets, and this is where the story is going so far. I really like it. Again, if you guys don't know, Lana and myself, are huge Scandal fans. It's on ABC. It stars Kerry Washington, plays a fixer on the Hill in Hill. I can never say Hill right. On the Hill in DC, and she happens to be having an affair with the president as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this season took a really big turn because, spoiler alert, her father was introduced, who was like a big arching nemesis or enemy
Yes.
or antagonist of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's revealed that it's her father, which is a really big twist of the season finale of season 2. And that's just kind of what she's dealing with now. And she's dealing with, like, this season is really about, I've noticed, Lana, this season is really about digging into her past, of who
Yes.
she was, like where she came from and where she is now, because she's a completely different person than when she was in college, and how they built up her and her father's relationship, and then how it just automatically, once she found out who he was, he became a completely different person.
And to me, she's a different person than she was at the beginning of the show, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I would have to agree with that, just because she's really evolved. I feel like she was kind of even, and you may agree with this, but I was thinking about this as you said that she came off as a little naive in season 1,
Mm-hmm.
a little. I shouldn't say naive. I mean, she's a fixer. She's really intelligent, but when it came to like her love life, And like her personal life, she just came off as a little shallow. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's gotten some depth since then. Maybe just because we've seen more complexity added to her life and obviously difficulties added to her life. But this show, I'm really excited for this season because I try to tweet about it on Twitter. I tweet about it on Twitter, and I can't because I have to focus on every scene is as vital as the scene before.
You know what? Don't worry about tweeting. Enjoy yourself and watch the show because, quite honestly,
I mean,
we have both live tweeted before, and it is really hard to do that, especially with the show that you love. And, you know, do it on the commercials.
yeah, I mean, because I like some of the Agents of Shield and like. My fingers are so tired because I feel like I'm trying to keep up but so that's how I feel about the show. I think the season and these past 3 episodes have been really well thought out, really well planned, and just adds more excitement to me for like next week because since I don't watch it live, I don't see any of the previews for the next episode. So it's kind of cool because I wish movies were like that because you see all these trailers and you kind of get diluted by the commercials and the previews. So it's nice to kind of go into a show not knowing exactly what's going to happen next week because I didn't see any type of previews or scenes or anything. But Lana, how did you feel? How are you feeling about this season?
Well, how should I?
I saw well, the way you coughed. Something was.
Yeah. So I have to say the quality of the episodes have not diminished in any way. So that's
Mm-hmm.
not actually the problem.
Okay.
For me, the problem is the character of Olivia Pope.
Mm.
And I just, as I'm watching these episodes, I just started thinking, and that's dangerous.
I started thinking. You can't think.
And I tried not to. I was like, no, get out of my head, get out. But it just would not stop. Um, my problem, I mean, Kerry Washington is a fabulous actress, so this isn't about her. This is about the character of Olivia Pope. And
Okay.
Shonda might be doing this on purpose. It might be part of the writing, but
Mm-hmm.
this is how I'm feeling. I feel like there's started to be a weakness associated with Olivia Pope. And as I'm watching her navigate the tattered remains of her love life
Not the tatter remains of her love
and
life.
life in general, I'm looking at her. This is not a happy person. This is not, and she's the thing. I think what bothers me is that as unhappy as she is, there are things she can do to fix it. And it's almost like she knows what she can do to fix it, but she just is not going to do that. And that probably doesn't make for really good TV. It's more entertaining, I think, for us to watch her as a miserable person.
But yeah, that's what sells. I mean,
That's what
reality,
sells.
happy people do not make for good television.
It
But
doesn't.
also
It's
the
boring.
reason that okay, so what you said about Olivia's character
Hmm.
and how she comes off as, did you say weak?
Yeah, and I want to go back to season 1 Olivia. She was just bad. She was just like boom, she was on it, she was doing it. I'm looking at her personality and a little bit of the shift that I've seen. And I understand that, we change as an effect of the circumstances that we've been in and the things that we've experienced. But I would love, and maybe she's about to come out of it because it looks like we have an episode coming up next week that's not part of the main story arc.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more like a standalone. So
Okay.
maybe we'll get to see more of the Olivia Pope that is the fixer, that's handling, and that's not as reactionary as
I
I
think
think I've seen.
I think when it comes to the reason that she comes off as weak to me or to
Hmm.
you as well, I think that's a really great way to put it, is because Shonda and the writers are introducing background.
Hmm.
When a
Yeah.
character
Yeah.
is introduced to your life, whether they are a real life person in front of you or a character on a show, and you know nothing about their past,
Hmm.
they automatically come off as obviously mysterious. They have no signs of weakness because you don't know them.
Hmm.
But when you start to introduce background and how they got the path they took or the paths they took to
Mm-hmm.
get to where they are today. Then you start to see emotion, you start to see complexity, you start to see strengths and weaknesses, and they start to become more humanized. Season one, Kerry Washington, well, Olivia Pope is not a human because
She's not. She's a superpower. She's her
everything, yeah,
own superpower.
everything goes right. Everything is going right for her. Every episode, she's winning.
Hmm.
Even when something catches her off guard, she's winning.
She's winning.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
like even and then like the one thing she has, the one flaw, I'm using quotations, the one flaw she has is that
Hmm.
she's sleeping with the president.
Hmm.
But even that is so under wraps
Yeah.
that it's not a weakness. It's like because I feel like for it to be a weakness would mean someone had that secret and could exploit that secret.
Hmm.
Then she would be like, okay, I'm scared. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. But in season one, she is very, RoboCop,
Yeah.
and she just has no weaknesses. And all of a sudden, as you develop this show, just like with any show, as you develop the show, you start to develop background for that character, and then
Hmm.
you take it to a place where it becomes more intimate. And you take a deeper dive into the psyche of that character, and then you understand that they are human.
Hmm.
Thus, we have an emotional tie to that person. They become, just really normal. And I think with that, it's like, oh my God, because at the end of episode 3, this past episode, where she was talking about her father and how she was talking to Huck and talking about, no, was it Huck or
She was
Jake?
talking to Jake, and they were
Jake.
sitting on the couch, and then the phones were ringing. I do have to say that I really loved that last scene because I think we see a bit now. One story arc that has been very interesting to me is the one with her and her father, and how much control he still has over her and over people under his command, and the way he can wither her with basically a look, and how she basically turns back into that little girl as soon as he's around.
She becomes weak. She
Yeah.
becomes weak. And
Yeah.
when she said at the end about how, don't worry, excuse me, she was like, don't worry, he still has control over me too, or power over me too. And then
Yeah.
she downed that wine. And I think now I'm a big wino myself on the record, and I'm fine with that. But, because I used to be like, man, she has really good taste. I used to say this in the first seasons. I was like, she has really good taste in wine, and they always drink wine. I love
Mhm.
wine. And now I see where she got it from, because remember in when they went to her past and how her and her father's relationship built up and crashed, and how she hated wine, and he was like, because you haven't
Mhm.
had good wine yet, and now she's into it. So it's like, ooh, it's like the metadata of the story, because when she says,
Metadata.
I know,
I
right?
had to. I'm sorry. I love it.
I'm an IT person. I'm sorry.
I love it.
When I said it too, I was like, why don't I just say that? But whatever. You know what I meant. It's the data in the data.
Right.
Uh,
I didn't know, but now I do.
you learn a new term every week. That's gonna be term of the week. We're gonna introduce term of the week. So Lana, I can't stand you.
I'm sorry.
So I forgot where I was going. Oh, so the reason, let's look, isolate that scene. So you say, she says, "Don't worry, my father still has control over me too, or power over me too," and then she drinks that wine.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
you see where it's coming from,
you dug deep with that one. Ooh,
right?
I got it.
I saw that
Put
instantly. I was like,
together.
yeah, I saw that, and I was like, whoever produced this scene or directed this
Good.
scene,
That was good.
that was really good.
Maybe I need a rewatch.
You have to, because it's
Maybe
like,
watching with one eye.
seriously. Because usually when I watch an episode, because when it's the fall, just to go back to TV in general, when it's the fall, everything is new.
Hmm.
You have 25 different shows to watch in a few days, and since
Right.
we do this podcast, I try to keep up with everything. So I did not rush through the episode, but I'm like at work, like at my lunch break, like watching the episode on my phone, and then I'm actually watching it on TV this morning, and I noticed it this morning.
Oh, that's a very good parallel. And
Yeah.
another person I want to bring up, honestly, I want to talk a little bit about Melly because I love her.
I love her scene in the kitchen, or not the kitchen, but the dining
In the
room.
dining room, that was beyond fabulous for me.
I want to quote
And
that.
I just want to take her to a bar and get her drunk and let her talk. Honestly.
I just want her to read me. I just want her to look at me and just like tear me apart. Because every time, like when her and Fitz were taking care of the baby and they were going back and forth, and
Oh,
she
that
was
was funny.
like,
That was
she
funny.
was like, you could barely even get it up to conceive this child. And then he had a comeback, which he had a really cool comeback, and then Cyrus interrupted them both. And
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
the
it's
baby
just
is just sitting here like,
I want my real mommy. Oh, on Tumblr, Lana, Tumblr is a tumble over those gifts of that scene
oh,
because like they like gift the baby and he's in. Is it a boy or girl?
I think it's
Girl.
a boy.
As a boy, and he's just like, I want my real mommy, or whatever the maid's name
Yeah.
is.
Oh, right,
He's
right.
like,
That
he's
Martha or something.
yeah, Martin, yeah, Marta, and he's like, I just want Marta. Like, where's my real mommy? Like,
That is so that's funny, but I think Melly seems like a strong character. I think she's a strong character as far as being a woman in the show, but she's also weak, and she is weakened by her desire for power and willingness to just
I
accept, but she's using it to an end. So is that really weak, or is that what is that?
I think she's actually powerful because that scene alone in the kitchen, I keep saying the kitchen, in the dining room
Huh?
was a really telling moment. This was a really telling episode, just the inner workings of a lot of the characters. Even though you think you know Melly, you think you know
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus, Fitz, Olivia, all these characters, you think you know them, but Shonda just has a really good way of just introducing more depth and more complexity of the character. Because when she said, well, when Jake, when Fitz goes, well, you almost got what you wanted because
Mm-hmm.
Olivia almost died. She was like, that's not what I wanted. I
Mm-hmm.
would have lost if she died because she was like, with her alive, she is the strings that I need to pull to make my puppet do whatever I want.
And can I just say that that was freaking awesome?
Because all Fitz could
Like
do was sit there and just take it. He was like, damn, she's right.
she just read him up, down, and around. And wow. And then she got up and staggered out the room.
He was like, are you drunk? She was like, no, women don't get drunk.
Right.
Yes, I'm drunk.
So, I'm curious to see where the character of Olivia Pope is going to go this season. I mean, I'm in for it. I may not necessarily like, the different things and some of the weaknesses in her character that I'm seeing, but I'm definitely I'm in for the long haul. So,
Oh, well, we're not going anywhere. We're Scandal Sands.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the show is not getting worse by any means. It's only getting better. But the thing is also, like you said, Lana, I mean, you made a really good statement when we first started talking about this show is that, when the writer, as the show goes on, the writers must evolve. Thus, the
yeah,
characters must evolve because you
right.
have to keep the story fresh. And obviously, to keep the story fresh introduces risk because some fans like us may or may not at this moment enjoy where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the end of the road, we'll talk about this line, and you may or not be happier, or you may be like, oh, I love the way it ended, or I love where Olivia developed, or what she developed to, or evolved to, but the journey to get there is not always the most pleasant.
It's not,
And I feel
and
like Shonda has like an end game. I'm sure Shonda, I think the show's almost over, meaning like they've already filmed almost everything.
mhm.
But I'm sure before she even introduced the first table read or gave the first table read, her and her writers already have like the start and the finish of the season.
Well, she does, and that's one thing that was fascinating about her interview with Oprah
Mm-hmm.
was that she said she already knows how things are going to end. It's just getting there. And I think that, wow, that's,
Right.
oh, and real quick,
Yeah.
Huck, when he yoked Olivia up and by the
Woo!
throat,
It scared me.
I was like, he can kill her. And she do best to remember that, to
She do
remember the
best.
lion that she has in the den. Okay.
We,
Because he may seem, all wonderful and we just want to give him a hug and make him feel better and stuff like that. But make no mistake about who he is.
he snatched her up so fast.
So fast.
And she screamed, or not screamed, but she like shuddered.
She was
It
like,
scared me. And then when she stumbled this past episode, when she stumbled into her office and he was sitting there, she froze with the quickness.
well, she thought she was going to die. And and it's so funny because when he yoked her up like that, it was almost like you could, and he's such a fabulous actor. It's like It's almost like you could see the process of him coming back into himself and
Mm-hmm.
kind of realizing what he was doing. And am I really going to care? And can I just say, Quinn needs to calm down.
I don't even know why
I
you
need
brought her
her to
name
calm
up.
down because she's starting to get on my nerves with this. Let's not
Can I
take
ask you a question, Lana?
just, yes.
Why did you even bring her up?
Exactly. I'm
Okay.
sorry. My bad. Ugh.
As pretty as she is, gorgeous woman. I'm like, Shonda, are you preparing for Huck to be gone for like half a season or
I
something? Like,
know.
why is she here? I don't understand what's Quinn's purpose.
But you know what, though? You know what would be awesome? She needs to learn a lesson. There needs to be a lesson and something needs to happen. Not something tragic where she's gone, but I feel like something needs to happen so she can realize that this newfound power, she's getting a little power hungry with, oh, I can hack and I can do this and blah, 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 blah. She needs to rein it back in. Huck does not take what he does lightly. It has
Mm-hmm.
worn on his soul and broken it into little pieces. It's not a game. Okay, it's not a game. He's serious about it, and that's why he's looking at her like, he's a trained assassin. He's a trained killer.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody trained in the art of torture, okay, by the government. So he was brainwashed in a way that's different than what he's trying to teach Quinn.
Right.
Okay, she didn't come from that background. And I'm wondering if something's going to happen where it's going to jump her back into reality instead of, I'm a super assassin and I can do anything for Olivia's firm.
Right. I,
That's all. I'm sorry. I'm done.
no, you're fine. Because I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, we could talk about this forever. But there was another premiere that happened
Mm-hmm.
this week, or yeah, Sunday, started the next week, whatever. Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I'm proud of you. So this premiere, I for one thoroughly enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't like the lack of Michonne.
Thank you.
I mean, I know this part of the story and stuff. I mean, that she's like off on her own doing her own thing or whatever, coming in by horse for like one scene, leaving.
Yeah, I
But
need
I
a little
think,
bit more.
but okay, it's okay, everyone. It's been a week. Episode 2 will have premiered by the time this podcast comes out. So
We're not
spoilers.
tripping. We're gonna say whatever.
Right. So at the end of the episode, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, that was an interesting twist, wasn't it?
So if he didn't get bit,
Mm-mm.
but he got sick.
I'm thinking water supply. There's something because what it relates back to the pig.
To the pig. It all goes back to the pig.
Yeah. So there's either something in the ground, something, but with him, something triggered that reaction. There was some kind of trigger. So I think we're gonna find out. I did watch Talking Dead after because
Mm-hmm.
it had Nathan
Nathan
Fillion on
Fillion.
it, and of
Mm-hmm.
course Chris Hardwick hosts. So, and the new guy who's the showrunner after they
Yeah.
fired the last dude,
Which is awkward.
he was on there. He seems to be very excited about his new position, but
Right.
he said that this episode, that episode 2, he said it just gets worse and worse. And he said this episode there's going to be a lot going on. So I'm really kind of excited to see where they're going. I know there was a couple of complaints that not enough happened. A lot of people didn't like this premiere, but as with a lot of shows, you have to, you need an episode that tells the story of where they are now. And
Right.
that's what we needed to see. We need to see where is everybody now. What I don't want to see that I know is going to happen, I'm attached to the core group. I don't really want to see a whole bunch of new characters right now.
Can I say something? I can't wait for all those new characters to die.
Yeah, can they just kill them quickly? Well, one of them already went. And can I just say when The Talking Dead does that, the in memoriam,
Mm-hmm.
and
Love
it's
that.
so funny for the people and the zombies who have been killed. I mean, that's hysterical. That's probably my favorite part of Talking Dead is when they do that, when he does that. It's so funny.
It was a good episode. I personally liked it. I mean, it drew in 17 million
Oh, wow.
viewers.
Oh,
It drew in,
nice.
I think it was 16.8. I'm trying to confirm that now, but I tweeted it and I can't find the tweet, But I believe it was like 16.8 like million viewers or something like that.
That's
Um,
awesome. They're catching up to Big Bang Theory.
oh yes, they. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes. Oh, so it said The Walking Dead season 4 premiere beats Breaking Bad finale in ratings, but it pulled in 16 million viewers in the demographic, um,
Right.
18 and 49 demographic.
But you know what? I think Walking Dead, didn't they always have higher ratings than Breaking Bad?
I'm not sure because I didn't really follow Breaking Bad
Yeah.
until you're the one that got me into Breaking Bad, but that was like last year.
Right. I didn't watch it from the beginning. I kind of played a little bit of catch up. I mean, just because, zombies is kind of like the thing now. I like it. I think it's fun.
Right.
People should be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Be quiet.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean it's like Breaking Bad became like this overnight success. I mean they were drawing in like millions of viewers, but I think it was
mhm.
under seven million viewers on average, like per episode. And obviously, as it got to season 5 and season 4, it drew in a lot more viewers. But the first 3 seasons, because I knew like Mad Men became like a really big hit. Walking Dead became a really big hit. The Killing was like a sleeper hit, and not The Killing and Breaking Bad were both hits that were like sleeper hits.
And The Killing got canceled
It got
again. It's
canceled.
been canceled twice already. I don't think it's coming back. So
Well, everyone that I know that watches it, and it has critical acclaim. It's won awards. So I don't know why it's getting canceled, but clearly,
ratings. I didn't watch.
yeah, It's like Jericho. It's like the new Jericho,
Hmm.
like just brought back to be canceled again. Um, but I guess so. We can go. There's another serious topic I want to talk about before we
Hmm.
go into games, if that's okay.
Yes.
And I kind of mentioned this to you, but tonight, Saturday, Kerry Washington will be on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I didn't know. So you mean I'm gonna have to turn on Saturday Night Live after 2 years?
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely,
Hmm.
you have to, because I'm assuming
Okay.
I'm thinking this is going to be a great episode. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was a little disappointed by some news that came out from SNL, which I've always noticed this in SNL, and I think this is one of the reasons why you probably don't watch the show.
Hmm.
Keenan Thompson, who is best known from like the movie Good Burger, the Keenan and Kel show on Nickelodeon, great comedian.
Hmm.
I shouldn't say great comedian. He's all
Well,
right.
he has his characters that he does. Is pretty funny. I think he's pretty talented.
Yeah, he's
For what he
talented.
does.
Right, he's more talented than me because he's on SNL. So I'm not gonna knock him
You're
for that.
talented, Matt. Don't sell yourself short.
You're right. Thank you, Lana. This is why. Okay, so I need validation from you. So he was quoted from what was the magazine? I can't remember the magazine right now. But he was quoted as saying that to not blame, because a lot of SNLs came under scrutiny because of their lack of diversity on the show. Not
Total lack.
necessarily for minorities when it comes to race, but also for female, like black
Hmm.
female comedians. There are no black female comedians. There are 3 comedians or actors of color out of the 16 cast members, which is obviously Kenan Thompson,
Hmm.
Jay Farrow, and then Nassim. I hope I say his name right. Nassim Pedrad, who is Iranian.
Oh, and
And
well, when they let Jay Farrell do something,
yeah, because I
we
mean,
don't see him much.
we don't see him much. I mean, he is one of the official people that is like in the intro, and I'm sorry, Nassim,
Hmm.
um, and he's in the intro, like the legit intro, but he doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
So Keenan had came out, and later Jay Farrell came out and confirmed and agreed he would not do the same, that they will not be doing any female impressions anymore or drag
Really?
anymore. So like Keenan's done Oprah. He's done like Jennifer Hudson. He's done like a bunch of female characters and impersonations,
Wow.
and he is just a little. He's just tired of it, and I guess Lorne Michaels, who was the showrunner, has came under fire because of her lack of diversity on the show. But he came out and said, "Don't blame her. Blame the lack of quality in black female comedians as to why they are not on SNL."
Well, Lauren Michaels, he's kind of been under fire a little bit off and on throughout the years for SNL for just different things. I think it's funny because I always kind of make fun of him as a crazy person, but
No.
it's I don't know. And it's like, let's not. Did you see that list on the internet that was floating around about the black female comedians who could be on SNL? I
Yes, I
mean,
looked at that link.
yeah, so let's not pretend that there's nobody out there. Let's just be honest and say that's not who your target audience is.
I mean, like honestly, the thing that kind of saddens me. Like for instance, have you seen? I follow her on YouTube. I think she is hilarious. I mean, like
Uh-huh.
I've had tears coming down my face. Her name is Demira Brunson.
Oh, I
She
haven't
has
heard.
a YouTube channel called The Demira Show or Darmira Show.
But now
She
now
is
pissing me off.
hilarious. Have you heard of I'm trying to find it right now, but she does like a celebrity face off, like she'll impersonate like Beyonce and Rihanna and Whitney Houston. Lana, she is hilarious.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to watch. I have to
She is
watch. You said that I have to watch.
She is. I'm gonna tweet out her name too. She is raw talent. She does her own impersonations. What school was that? Because I first heard of her. Someone had posted on Facebook about some skit she did for like a college or whatever. You know the commercial. I forget what it was, but you know like the person would be like, "Yo, like I had a really terrible life, and I like called this school, and I
Oh,
got my
that's
life back
her.
together." That's her. That's her.
Shut up. Oh
She
my
did a blooper on
god.
that, and it was hilarious. So that was when I instantly read he was talking about that there was no female comedian of minority background that is of good quality.
Oh
I
my
instantly
god.
thought of her, and of course I instantly thought of Aisha Tyler.
Right.
Like so, I went to Aisha Tyler's Twitter like
Mhm.
immediately after I read it, and some people were already tweeting Aisha and was like, "Hey, have you read this article?"
Yeah.
And she retweeted a bunch of people, and she was like, "Yeah, he's just stupid. Like
Mhm.
I don't, he clearly is not knowledgeable
Right.
in the female lore or the female comedians of minority background." And
There's a lot of them.
there's a lot. I mean, I just named two right there, but there are a lot of females out there that are extremely funny. But someone was quoted in saying, I'm trying to find her name. Alyssa Rosenberg. She's one of the casting directors, and she said that it is kind of hard to find black, like this to say black female comedians.
Mhm.
She said that they did. She said she did. I think a season or 2 seasons ago, they were in negotiations with a really talented black female comedian. But the reason she did not join the show is because of contractual issues. I don't know what that means. She
Yeah.
didn't go into detail, but she just said that they really wanted her, but it just didn't work out contractually. I guess I
So
don't
what? They
know.
wanted to pay her $5 an episode, and she said no. Don't. I'm
Lana,
sorry.
Lana.
Yeah. I. I'm. If you can tell, I'm a little. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
It's that
so
day.
I know I'm like talking today. I know I'm like talking a bunch about this. I just wanted to get your feel about it because I really wanted to talk about
No,
this
I
because
agree. And honestly, there's other things that they've done that I found offensive. And, besides just the lack of color on the set, just some skits. And, it's my choice. I made a choice not to watch certain things. If I find it offensive, I don't have to watch it.
right,
So,
right,
that's why, I haven't watched it in a couple of years. And I have to say, I'm really, really proud of Keenan and Jay, who jumped on for, just kind of making a stand in the only way that they really could. I mean, they're contractually obligated to the show. They could be fired after their contracts go up. So, what he did, I hope people don't take it lightly. What he did was a risk.
right.
It really was. Because if that's, a lot of what he does on the show, that could limit, the time that we even get to see him on the screen.
Which it will.
So,
It will.
yeah, and so he's, I'm really hoping that they allow him to be more creative and come up with other things because I think, he is funny. I think Jay Farrell is funny. And oh my gosh, he's done the best impression of Denzel Washington that I've ever seen from anybody in my life.
Yes.
But, he can do more and I would like to see them collaborate. They need to sit down, and say, okay, what are we going to do? Because
Well,
they're the representation right now.
and I think another reason that he's coming under scrutiny is because of the fact that he is passing the buck. That's the reason behind like the homogeneity. I'm sorry, he's passing the buck onto the reason of the lack of diversity in the cast, like blaming it on the actual comedians rather than it being the responsibility of the show and its producers.
Mhm.
Which I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I think, I think there's, in my opinion, I think there is blame to be put on the producers, not necessarily the cast, not the cast fault, but really the producers. I don't know exactly where they're looking, but I did read that I think a third of the cast is from UCB, and which is a
Wow.
really expensive acting school on the East Coast, and you do not get paid, but they work really closely with NBC, like a partner of NBC. So a lot of the cast members come from there, but it's also it's extremely expensive, and there is a very, 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 very noticeable lack of minorities in UCB.
Hmm.
So it's the way that UCB is trying to change it, and I read that UCB is trying to change this by they're hoping to attract women and people of diverse backgrounds by having a diversity scholarship, which would pay for a full year of UCB classes.
But a lot of people really hate that, and a lot of people think that the fake term reverse racism, because there is no
Mm-hmm.
such thing.
Mm.
Um, and they say, "Oh, well, why?" Blah 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 blah. And it's like, look, we need to do what we need to do to make stuff more diverse. I mean, honestly,
Right.
there are a lot of actors or wannabe actors who may not even know about the program, and you do what you have to do. And, and it can be done. Look at Mad TV. Mad TV had a very diverse cast,
Oh,
and Living Color had a very diverse cast.
Deborah
So,
Wilson.
oh, her,
Woo.
rest in peace, Whitney Houston. No disrespect,
Mm.
but her Whitney Houston.
Oh my God.
Phenomenal.
Sitting on the dock of the bay, getting high. Sorry,
No, I was going to let you go. I was going to let you go.
I love that skit. And the
It's
Destiny Child skits too were hilarious.
Yeah, and so let's not say that because all those people were talented. They were
Hmm.
all talented. So let's not say there's nobody out there. And Living Color, very diverse cast. That's where Jim Carrey got his start. Let's
Right.
not say, and Keenan hired him. Let's not say that there is no other talent out there, that they're just not there. Maybe broaden your search a little bit.
I was just
Come
about to
out
say
here
that.
to LA. Come out to, what is it, Chocolate Thursdays?
Chocolate Thursday.
Yeah.
Do we have to talk about this offline?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I just, I'm a little excited now. Chocolate Thursday. Does this have to do with food?
No.
Okay, I'm not really excited anymore.
So,
I really want to.
in every major city in America, somewhere is a chocolate Thursday.
Yeah, I was there 2 days ago. We can talk about that. We can talk about that off the podcast, though. Well, really quick, I'm sorry. I kept saying UCB. UCB stands for the Upright Citizens Brigade World. UCB World. And yeah, I feel like if 2/3 of the new cast members, which this is true, 2/3 of the new cast members of SNL came from UCB, that means y'all didn't even search,
Yeah, they didn't
or
look
y'all just stuck to
anywhere.
the East Coast. I mean, because I feel like you know, with Keenan and Jay making this announcement and refusing to do female impersonation or drag or whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
they are really forcing NBC's hand, because if they're not going to do female drag, that means there will be no female impersonations of a black
Living
background.
color. Yeah.
And yeah, Kerry Washington, because some people were saying that the reason Kerry Washington's on this episode is because it's a reaction to Keenan's announcement. But she was cast, or not cast, I should say cast, but she was recruited for this episode as a guest spot 3 weeks ago.
And
So,
a lot of people also send in requests. I think sometimes SNL, and I forgot where I saw this, but SNL sends in people send in requests of who they want to see host.
mm-hmm.
So it could have been the fans that actually wanted Kerry Washington to be there. They do take votes from time to time. So I'm interested, I'll watch. I will support her. I will turn to channel 4. And
Mm.
and I'm curious to see what she's going to do and what she does. I think she's a really intelligent lady. And I just, I haven't really seen her in a comedic role, although I know she's played them. So I'm really, really interested to see, what the writers have come up with and what she's going to do. I'm prepared to come in with an open mind and a laugh, and I really hope it's funny.
I, I will watch it. I'll at least DVR it. I just think, for me, I think just to kind of, in conclusion, I feel like when it comes to SNL, you really have to look up. SNL really needs to look at the pool of potential talent. I think that they're not really diversifying their searches or broadening their searches, because diversity is very important because it keeps the show refreshing. It keeps it, I mean, diverse. It keeps
Mm-hmm.
it complex because when you have an all-white cast, how much can you really do?
Yeah. But and you know what? And it's not even and I think you'd agree with me. It's not even about them being all black because that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of everybody. I
Exactly,
really do.
of every race.
I want to see everybody. I always love the shows, few and far between as they are, where they have a diverse cast. That means, sometimes you always have the one Asian,
Mm-hmm.
you have the one black person, you have maybe if you're lucky, you'll have a Hispanic on there.
Right.
So let's mix it up, people.
It
There
only
are
makes it
more than
better.
three ethnicities in the world. Let's mix it up.
Because I know some people were like, it's about white and black, and it's not about white and
It's
black.
not.
It's higher than that. It's, like you said, you have to have Asian culture, Latino culture. You have all these cultures that could
I want
really
to see
that
some
have hmm,
Arabs and some East Indians on there.
right, that are truly comedian. I mean, that are really funny. Like Aziz Ansari. Like, I mean, I think he's. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. I really like Aziz. He does. My friend does not. He thinks he's not funny at all. But I think he's really funny. And he
I
would
think he's
add
funny.
diversity. I think he's really funny. I mean, he's on Parks and Recs now. He's on NBC. Obviously he would not be working for SNL, but it's like bring this diversity to the show, even if it means bringing Aziz on for just as the guest spot, bringing Kerry Washington on as a guest spot, bringing other comedians on of a different race, different background on the show to provide diversity until you are able to expand your pool of
Hmm.
cast members. I mean, because it's not going to happen next week. They're not going to have all these new cast members next week. But for the next season, really, prepping for the next season, really like go out and do your research because there are a lot of comedians out there, and that would really add and elevate the taste level of SNL. They wonder why their ratings are going down.
Yeah, I said, like I said. Oh, and I have to give a shout out to um the actress that plays in her show, The Mindy Project. Mindy, I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly. It's Kaling, I think.
Love
And
her. Love that
yeah,
show.
so, there are, and I'm really happy to see that because, she, as even though it's not NBC, her show is on Fox. I want to continue to add to the diversity of who we're seeing on television because the
Right.
world is not just black and white.
It's
There's a
not.
bunch of other people in the middle. There's a bunch
And
of other
if you
people out there.
and if you're not watching, and people that don't know about the show Mindy Project, that show is freaking hilarious. I mean, it is genuinely so funny, and she created the show. She's the producer. I mean, just everything about it is just so good, and the taste level is so high. So, Lana, you're perfectly right. I mean, you're perfectly right. You're absolutely right in the fact that the diversity needs to come. And it will, because I feel like this is not. I don't look at Keaton as the bad guy, like you mentioned earlier, Lana. I think
Hmm.
he is the good guy in this. I think he's really calling out the fact that he's tired of doing female impressions. I mean, I don't agree with everything he said,
Right.
but I mean, there's time for. I think was wise, and obviously this is a risk in forcing NBC's hand. Now they're not going to fire him now, but they're going to do something because if they're not doing female impressions, who is?
Exactly.
So
We'll see somebody in blackface in a wig, and then they'll say it's funny, and then people will say we're overreacting if we get upset.
right. So
So
that's another podcast in itself.
it sure is.
So okay, so let's move on to something a little bit more electronic.
Can we just talk
I
about the
just really want
games
to talk about
now?
that. Yes, I really want to talk about SNL. So okay, this past week there was an announcement, and we tweeted out about it. Okay, so Lana and I have been really excited for the next gen launches, and we've talked probably almost every episode, at least for a minute or two, about the first day launch or whatever, 60-day window, whatever. And I know that you weren't really impressed with some of the games, like Assassin's Creed. Drive Club was supposed to be free for PS4 PlayStation
Hmm.
Plus members, which we would be. And then I was really excited for Watch Dogs.
And I
Well,
was gonna get Watch Dogs.
See?
It
Okay.
was one of the two that I was for sure going to get. Do you hear my tone
I
already?
know. You're so serious. I'm scared. So, and while we were at Comic Con, I got to go to the Ubisoft party where you could get hands on with Splinter Cell and Watch Dogs,
Mhm.
and I was talking to the creative director of the game and getting some insight, and I ended up talking about that on the podcast to the actual developers of the game who follow us on Twitter. Shout out to them, but. Just got really great insight, and they were really excited for the game. They were really excited that it was a launch day game. Like they kept promoting that it's a launch day game. It's a first day launch. Blah blah blah. Now, last week they tweeted out that I got it from Kotaku, but then we follow Watch Dogs as well, and they tweeted out that they were delaying the game until spring of next year. Now, with that being said, one of the
June 4th, June.
June 14th, you said?
June 2014.
Okay, June 2014. So the thing that's really making consumers like ourselves upset is because there is a very limited amount of high quality games that are coming out from launch on PS4, but also a number, I think like 18% of the pre-orders were the Watchdog bundle.
Mm.
And Ubisoft will not comment, or Watch Dogs will not comment on as to what you could do. Like GameStop wasn't commenting, Walmart wasn't commenting, Target wasn't commenting until last night about what they were going to do. So Target came out last night and announced that they had canceled all Watchdog bundle pre-orders.
Oh,
So I don't know what
what
that
are they
means.
gonna?
Because I didn't pre-order or neither one of us pre-ordered. I pre-ordered from
No,
GameStop,
I did
and I just
GameStop
pre-ordered the
too.
system. I didn't pre-order any bundles. And see how the spirit works, because I was like, I probably shouldn't like
You don't save any
pre-order a
money
bundle.
in a bundle. There's really no. I mean, in my estimation, there's just really no real point to doing a bundle. It's not something that's, I mean, if you want to, go ahead, go for it. But for me, it was just like, I'll just, because I was undecided about the games that I really, really wanted anyway. So with this, and their shares after this announcement came out
Mm-hmm.
went down, what was it? What I read? 29%?
Stop it. That's what you get. Because listen to this. This is what Target's telling people. So, sorry, really quick before we move on from that. Drive Club, which is supposed to be a launch day free game for PlayStation Plus members, was delayed as well. Now, give
Matt,
you a
I'm sorry, just go.
no, no,
Stop.
no. So much. So I was tweeting, or we were tweeting with one of the creators from Watch Dogs who I met at the Ubisoft party, and he said, he was like, just to give you a heads up, we didn't know this was coming. This is not a Watch Dogs
Whoa.
decision. This is not an Ubisoft decision. This is PlayStation's decision. And
What?
the rumors are is because exactly the rumors are because possibly because GTA 5 is doing so well
That's what I read, and
that they don't want to be hindered by that.
see the pressure on them to create a game, as good as some people think GTA
Mm-hmm.
is really, really pretty phenomenal right now. I think the game was ready to go. Of course, it was ready to go. It was supposed to come out in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, but or is it three? Something like that.
Yeah.
But
No, you're right. It's supposed to come out in 3 weeks.
yeah, so the pressure was on, and I don't know. I was reading some stuff about it, and I think they weren't completely happy with the way the worlds looked or the playability. There were some things that they weren't completely happy about, and I think there's going to be some changes to the game, and that's why I mean, this is a pretty big delay. This
This is
isn't
a
even
really
in the
big
launch
deal.
window. This isn't even, we're not talking about spring of, 20 or winter. Because at first it was one of the sites had originally, they did say March.
Mm-hmm.
They did originally say March 2014, but as of, I want to say a few hours ago, as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
it changed to June. And I guess that was some misinformation that they had put out. But, I don't know. It could change. We could still see it. We could see it tomorrow.
You're
They
right.
might change their minds again. So,
Well, this is what Target said. Target
mhm.
came out and said that they had canceled all pre-orders, but for Drive Club bundle and Watchdog bundle, but starting next week, the 25th, the week of October 25th, you could pre-order any other. You have the option to pre-order any other bundle, but it's a first come first serve basis.
See, that's not right. I think
And
that's not right.
yeah, it's not at all. I'm like, are you serious? So, and then Amazon and GameStop took a different route, and they came out. They were both stated that, excuse me, they will honor all pre-order bundles, with the latter offering the option of the latter being GameStop option of getting the console at launch and Watch Dogs upon release, or switching out for a different bundle. So meaning
Okay, that's good.
you will still keep the bundle, but you're basically investing money into Watch Dogs, and when it comes out, you just go back to GameStop
And you pick it up.
and you just pick it up.
Hmm.
Um, I
That's
don't know
the
how
way
I
to
feel about
handle it.
that.
Well, I think it's better than what Target is doing. Like that
Yeah.
that's kind of foul. I mean, you
So
go to the people who have pre-ordered and you give them better options than first comes first serve. That's pretty ridiculous.
because my thing is, you have commercials out, you had trailers out,
Ugh, nice
and
trailers.
it's like, so you know how like the Amazon Assassin's Creed Black Flag, like they've been seriously promoting that game. And I think also another thing is, I don't understand why they would release Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Watch Dogs at the same time.
Hmm.
Just a couple weeks apart. I mean, because they're produced by the same company.
Oh, well, you know what? But for Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed is their cash cow. That's their consistent game. That's the one that's going to perform because all of the Assassin's Creed fans, that's the one that they can bank on for sure. And they need to pull that money in. That's the guaranteed check, I think.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think that's
true.
why they said, well, we're going to keep Assassin's Creed. I can't even, if they said that Assassin's Creed wasn't going to come out on launch day like it's supposed to,
I know you would have took that pre-order back.
I'm like, I would
I
have
know
been
you would have.
done because
I know you would have.
honestly, I was halfway done anyway. But there's a silver lining and something I was thinking about, and I couldn't wait to tell you.
What is it?
And what I want to say is instead of looking at the larger companies and stuff, I'm really going to focus on downloads and independent games.
Indie games are supposed to be a really big spot. They're in a really big
Yeah.
spotlight for next gen.
And they've been pushing, and I've been reading some of the titles now. Some of them aren't available till the screen, but they're till the spring.
Hmm.
But I've been looking at, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just broaden my horizons? And instead of waiting for these major companies to come out with these one or two games, I think I'm gonna really look hard at the indie games that are coming out and really try to do the digital downloads. Quite a few of them are free to play on
Hmm.
launch day, so it's not like there's not going to be anything to play. It may
Right.
not be my first choice, but I'm willing to overlook some things and kind of say, okay, independent game developers, what have you got?
Really quick. I'm sorry. I meant to say this because since Drive Club is delayed,
Yeah, that was one of my two.
via PS4 is one of the only two.
Right.
Instead they're replacing it with a game which I have not heard of until literally 45 minutes ago. It's called you get, instead of Drive Club, you're getting a digital copy of the game Contrast. Now,
What
the
is,
only trailer that has been released
what
is a
is that?
teaser trailer, and I don't understand. It's like a okay, basically the game, it's made by Compulsion Games, and they were quoted as saying this game will whisk you away to a surreal vaudevillain film noir inspired reality full of performance, intrigue, shadow play, and drama. Now, the trailer is like a minute and 30 seconds. It's a teaser trailer, and it's very shadowy. It's very noir. I mean, it really, really is. It looks gorgeous, but I don't understand what the game is. Like a lot of comments, like I read a lot of comments from, this is on Forbes magazine, and I read a lot of comments, and a lot of people are actually genuinely excited about this game. Because some people were like, "Well, I don't play driving games, and I'm a PlayStation Plus member, so this is I'm actually more excited for this than I am for Drive Club." And I'm thinking, I wanted to race because Lana's a car freak, and
We
I'm
were
kind of a
gonna
car freak
race.
too.
We were gonna go in, and it was gonna be, we might have had to record some stuff.
Right, and I'm not mad. Like, I'm glad that they replaced it with something else. I just don't. The trailer, and I'm gonna tweet this out now. The trailer is just, it's a teaser. Like, I don't understand. Like, they have like the character running, like she's a shadow, and she's like running against like on the wall of the buildings. I guess she's a shadow, and she's like running over like on people's arms and hands. Like, this gun is about to shoot her, and I just don't understand what it is. So, I mean, that's their way of apologizing, or, not apologizing, but their way of making up for it. But I
Mm,
guess I don't know. So we'll see. I'm really interested to see more people's
I mean,
opinions
I'll
because
play it,
I mean, it's
see what
free.
it
I'm
is.
already, technically, we're already paying for it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, question. How much is a PlayStation Plus membership?
a PlayStation Plus membership is $54.99 a year.
Well, guess what? I saw an ad, and I don't know if it's a legit Black Friday ad,
Mm-hmm.
but GameStop's supposed to have 1 year PlayStation Plus memberships for $29.99.
What?
Yeah, if you can wait until the day after Thanksgiving. Yes.
So okay, but the question is, when we get our PS4s, which will be before Thanksgiving,
Right.
because I think when you get the PS4, it comes with a trial.
Okay, so cool. I'll sign up for the trial, cancel it, and then go buy the one for $29.99. Got
Mm-hmm.
it.
Because it's like, no, I mean, you're
Seriously.
completely right.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to look it up now because we talked about this a few podcasts ago, and I remember them saying PlayStation Plus is like a free trial, and then if you buy it, you get an extra like a month free or 2 months free or something. So you're basically getting like, you get the trial, which I'm assuming is 30 days,
Hmm.
and then if you buy it, you get another month or two. So basically, you get 3 months. I think that's for new buyers. I mean, obviously, my stuff will just be reloaded at the end of the year. Mine is renews in December. But yeah, I think it's $54.99, and I think there's other plans too that you can get like for 6 months instead of a year.
Hmm.
But basically, the best deal is getting the year.
Yeah, I would definitely, do a year. And especially with all these games available to PlayStation Plus members, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's going to be most of the games I'm playing. And I'm really excited about getting into the DCU Online universe. I'm going to be in that. I might even, yes, I'm going to say I might like play online with other people.
What?
I know.
That's like a
Crazy,
lot of I
right?
know.
I know, but it's DC and I get to play my people. And also, what's that other DC game? Not DC Online, the one that you were playing, the fighting one.
Injustice.
Yeah, so the Injustice Gods Among Us, the some kind of extreme edition. Look at me, I talk comics, right? But
Wow, I'm
I'm
so
all
proud
like
of
that
you right
one you
now.
were playing.
I'm like really proud of you right now. Like, seriously,
That one, I'm just like, oh, I want to play that. There's a whole comic based on Injustice and
there
DC
is,
Online,
and it's
and
dark.
yeah, it does. And you know, I've been kind of curious about it. If they come out with an annual, I haven't even researched. They may have one. Then I might just go on and pick that up,
Mm-hmm.
and because I know it gets pretty dark and kind of crazy, so.
I have not read it, but what the things I've seen like on comic like websites and stuff, they talk about how dark it is and people dying and superheroes dying, and
Oh
it's kind
yeah,
of serious.
it's not a game.
So, how about you want to just go into a little bit lighter subject and go into the Blerds of the week?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do
Because
that.
it's I'm sorry, but we
We were
have to
a
talk
little
about
heavy,
this.
but you know what? Sometimes serious things happen and you have to talk about it.
Serious things happen in the nerd world, and we're not always happy about
I
those.
make no apologies, whatever.
Um, I can't take you. Just get away from me. Just get away from me. So I'll go first.
Okay.
I want to do. I'm gonna change it up this week. I want to do an honorary blurred of the week
Uh-oh.
because he is not necessarily a blurred. I know, but just walk with me. Walk with me.
Okay.
Hold my hand, Lana. Hold
Hands.
my hand.
Holding hands.
So, and this is because, well, I'll just say, my honorary blur of the week goes out to Louis Scheimer, or Lou Scheimer. He actually just passed on the 17th of this month. He
Mm-hmm.
died at the age of 84, but he was best known for being an animator and a voice actor. And he was the voice actor of He-Man
Oh.
and, the Guardians of the Universe. And he voiced him. I forgot how he, I didn't say how he passed. I don't think they said how he passed. But he was a voice actor, and he did a lot of work, and he really translated He-Man from being like a barbaric show, like a Conan the Barbarian, to being something that's more translated. It was translated to something that's more kid friendly, and I really, really like that. And also, he provided the voice of Dumb Donald for Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids.
Oh.
So, I mean, he's done a lot. He has a very, and the reason I really highlight him is because he has a really long, diverse background. Some of the things I haven't necessarily heard of, like he did the voice acting for Jason of Star Command and Space Academy. He also did the voice of Batmite, the Bat Computer for Batman, and he also did the voice of Clayface on the New Adventures of Batman. So he had a very diverse background. Really, really great. I don't want to say socialite, but just really, really big impact, really impactful in the animation community and really impactful in the voice animation community. And I thought it was really cool that he played Dumb Donald in Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Well, voiced Dumb Donald and Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. So I just want to give an honorary Blurred of the Week to Lou Scheimer, because of what he's done and his work he's done. He was active from 1957 to 1994, and the reason he became inactive in this world was because he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So it was really hard for him to, do those roles again. But I just want to give a shout out to him. He passed on the 17th of this month. And I don't know why I said we were going to go lighter, but I guess I kind of went dark again. I'm sorry. But yeah,
Well, death
just
is a
because of his
part of life.
legacy. He has a great legacy, and that's why I wanted to give him a shout out as
Well,
my Blurred of the Week.
that's good. Um, so I was thinking about who my blurred of the week is going to be, and I hadn't come up with anybody. But then we got to talking, so I think my blurred of the week, and I don't even remember who we've done this person. I'm just going to have it be Kenan Thompson. And the reason,
What?
yes, the reason he is my blurred of the week as of 30 seconds ago
Okay.
is because, in light of the new information, you know, sometimes we have hard choices to make. And, part of being a nerd is kind of, standing up for how you feel, even though it's outside of the norm.
Right.
And I think that's what he did. And I think he deserves the honorary Blurred of the Week statue.
Also, when you are already as a nerd outside of the norm for just being yourself, then you have to restand up for something new that you believe in that obviously is against the grain. Because if he didn't say anything, nobody would have said anything.
Nobody would have said anything. Yeah. So that's who it is. And the reason is because of what he said about not playing any Black female characters. And I think, he was operating from where he is and what he could do. And I like it. And I appreciate it.
Wow. Okay, wait a minute. Let me change. Okay, so one, shout out to Kenan Thompson and Lou Scheimer for being our Blerds / honorary Blerds of the week. You can definitely follow Kenan Thompson on Twitter. I don't know his handle because I didn't really talk about Kenan Thompson ever. His name never left my tongue
until today.
Until like a week ago.
A week ago.
So I'd be like, he's all right, whatever. So shout out to him and Lou Scheimer, may you rest in peace. But I kind of want to end on a much more positive note, and this is why, because I want to talk about this earlier, but so there was the Christian. Well, I read the article somewhere on Facebook, and it led me to the Christian Science Monitor, which I've gotten a lot of stuff from them. Well, Oreos. Researchers at Connecticut College have found that rats' behavior towards Oreo cookies is not unlike their behavior towards cocaine and morphine.
Yeah, I felt that. That's pretty funny.
I read that because here's what happened. A week and a half ago, my coworker, because I love chocolate, and he always brings me like Reese's, which you shouldn't do that to me. And he had a bag of Oreos, and he brought me a whole thing of Oreos. I don't know why he's trying to fat me up. I don't understand. But I was like, I don't want these. Like, take them back. He was like, I'm going to leave them at your desk. And I'm like, no, please take them away from me. So he left them on my desk, and I ate one, Lana.
It was a wrap, wasn't it?
The whole day I'm at work smashing these Oreos.
Just one
And
more. Just one
I
more.
was, it got to the point, instead of taking one out, I would take like 4 and put the whole thing away. Like, this is it for the rest of the day. Now, in all honesty, they're still on my desk a week and a half later, and they're still there. Like, it has three rows, and I have a row and a half left. So I've only had a row and a half. I've only had half the bag, or half the package. So then this article came out, and I'm like, they are so right.
Yeah.
Oreos,
It's hard.
I think Reese's have some type of additive drug in them too, because I can eat them in nonstop, and I just remember just I don't know if Nabisco has came out and like made a comment to this, but the Connecticut College, this is all based off of rat studies, but they treat their mind treats Oreos like how you would with cocaine and morphine, and it's like addicting.
Don't try crack. Try Oreos.
Seriously, they're healthier. You
Crack
probably
is
live
whack.
longer. Crack is whack. Oreos are. This is what rhymes with Oreo.
Boreo.
All right. On that note, I just wanted to thank everyone for. I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast. As always, please, 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 please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes.
And next week, because we ran out of time this week, but I was going to talk about it next week. We'll go over the Kamikaze schedule. If you're out here, you can go to the Kamikaze and their schedule is out. So we will talk about that, and maybe I'll have a decision about whether I'm actually going or not.
Oh, can we talk about Fangasm too?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
I want to talk about, because I mean, since they're interning for Kamikaze,
Yeah,
so
they're gonna have a panel there.
yeah, that'd be a perfect time to talk about Kamikaze, because I have some. Okay, we can talk about
Yeah.
that later. But yeah, like us on Facebook. Please follow us on Twitter. We are always ranting and nerding out and just being kind of emo. This is a very emo week for Blerds on Nerds. So
I feel better.
I feel better too, because
Wait,
Lana and I have talked via Twitter, but we haven't really, not via Twitter. We've texted each other, but we were like, we want to talk about all of this on Saturday.
yeah.
So continue to spread the nerd, and we will talk to you on the next one. All right, guys?
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.